Hi Maggie and Augustino. Today what we did in writing workshop, Riley usually videotapes me at the smartboard teaching, but she is homesick, so I'm going to attempt to do this just by myself. So what we did is we talked about the reviews and we talked about specifically the introduction. So we've been reading a lot about different movies, different restaurants, and all sorts of things that we can review. So what I did, it looks kind of messy on the smartboard, but I have the Despicable Me one that we did for the movie review, and I just cut out the introduction so that we don't have the whole movie review, just the introduction. I did the same thing for the book review for Officer Buckle and Gloria, and then I did the same thing for the restaurant of Cracker Barrel, and the same thing for the restaurant for Crumbs Bakery, and I just have the introductions displayed. So in your writing binder, what you're going to want to do is just kind of focus on those introductions and ask yourself, what is it that they did in that introduction for that review, just for that part? So if I read the Despicable Me out loud, Despicable Me is a Universal Studios movie directed by Pierre Coffin and Chris Renaud. So what did they do there? Well, first of all, they named the movie. So that's probably something that I would want to do in my introduction, is to make sure that I named it. After you name it, keep reading and see what else did they do in their reviews. So let's look at the one for Officer Buckle and Gloria. See what they did for that review. Just for the introduction. Are you interested in a career as a police officer? Do you love dogs? What did they do there in their review that you could do for your introduction? Well, they started with a question. So go through and kind of make yourself a checklist and ask, what can I do in my introduction for whatever you're doing, whether it's an app, a movie, a book, a restaurant, a hotel, and kind of create a list for yourself so that when you go to generate your draft, you'll know exactly what to do for your introduction. Let's take a look at some examples. I've got 4 on the right side, and then I've got some on the left. So these are examples over here. We're going to read some together, and then you're going to do like a matching activity. You're going to tell me, is that one that tells like an overall opinion? Or is that like a quote? Or does it show the reviewer your credibility? And that just means you're like an expert. You know so much about it. Either you've been there a ton, or you've read the book a lot. You really know a lot about it, so you're an expert. You're pretty credible. Or does it ask a question? So let's just take a look and dive right in. This first one that I'm going to read right up here. This is the best vanilla cupcake I ever had, said a little boy sitting at the table next to me at Crumbs Bakery. I agreed. If we were going to match that and draw a line, would we draw a line to this right here? Does it tell an overall opinion? Is it a quote that somebody said? Or does it show that the reviewer is like an expert? Or does it ask a question? It doesn't ask a question, so I know it's not that one. I don't really know 100% yet. Let me read it again. This is the best vanilla cupcake I ever had, said a little boy sitting next to me. Is it an opinion? Is it a quote? Or is somebody an expert? I think it's a quote. It has the quotation marks and it says that somebody said. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this over under quote. Now let's take a look at this one. I love cupcakes and eat several every day. So trust me when I say Crumbs is the best place in New York City for cupcakes. Does that tell the overall opinion? Does it show that the reader or the reviewer is an expert? Either they go there a lot, they have it every day, they really know a lot about it, or does it ask a question? Think about that one for just a minute. What about this one? Where do you go when you have a sweet tooth craving? Would that be tells an overall opinion? Somebody's an expert, or does it ask a question? Well, that one's easy. It asks a question. Where do you go when you have a sweet tooth craving? Okay, let's look at this last one. Ben and Jerry's is famous for ice cream, Starbucks for coffee, and in my part of New York City, Crumbs is famous for cupcakes. So I've got tells overall opinion left, along with the reviewer's an expert. Let's look back at this first one. I love cupcakes, and I eat several every day. So trust me. Oh, that must mean they're an expert. I'm going to slide that one under here, and I know that because that keyword every day, and then they say trust me. Okay, so overall opinion, that would match this one up here. So now I want you to ask yourself, self, which one do I want to start my introduction with? Do I want to do my first sentence for my introduction, like an overall opinion? Do I want to do one that starts with a quote? Or do I want to do one that makes me sound like an expert? Or do I want to ask a question? Now remember, the purpose of this entire review, the reason why you're writing it, is to persuade. Good, to persuade someone to do something. So that's the purpose of this. So what do you think would be like the strongest way for you to start your review off? Now one of our students is doing a hotel, so she might want to start off with one for being an expert. For example, if she's doing the Hard Rock Hotel, I love hotels and I travel a lot. So trust me when I say that Hard Rock Hotel is the best place to stay when you're on vacation. So do you see how I kind of changed it a little bit? Rewind that and watch that if you need to. If you are going to do one on maybe an app, like some people are doing Minecraft the app. This is the best app I've ever played, said my friend who was playing next to me. I agreed. Okay, so you might want to even name Minecraft instead of saying Minecraft is the best app. Okay, so think about how you want to kind of start yours off. And then once you figure out how you want to start it off, go ahead and write that first sentence for your introduction. And then you're going to need a second sentence and a third sentence and a fourth sentence. So then what you're going to do is that list that you generated of all sorts of ingredients that you could use for your review, go ahead and add a couple of sentences. I'd like for you to have about 5 sentences, 4, 5, or 6 sentences for your introduction for your review. So look back, most importantly, at the Crumbs Bakery, at the Cracker Barrel, at Despicable Me. See the type of words that they used. See what they did for their reviews so that you could do yours very similar. Have fun!